Hey guys, welcome. I'm glad you're here. So today I thought we would we're gonna do a crock pot dish like I did last week. Um, it's busy season for me, and I'm not sure how busy or unbusy I'm gonna be. Yeah, with pies and all. This is kind of my first holiday season making pies for other people, and so I mean, as it stands right now, I've got an okay amount of pies to make. Nothing that's impossible, but an okay amount, and that's awesome. I'm not hating on it, but it does kind of cut into the amount of time I have to do things. So we're gonna do a crock pot dish, and I know we've done a fair amount of crock pot dishes, but they're easy. And when you cook things slow, and steady at an even temperature, it brings out so much more flavor. But today we're gonna do an Indian dish, an Asian dish. And it's a chicken tikka masala, and we've made this before, way back at the beginning of us cooking together, but that was done in a frying pan. This one is done, it starts a little bit in the frying pan, but then it ends up in the slow cooker where it cooks all day and marries the flavor, and I'm going to guess that it's going to change, more intensify the flavor. Yeah, not change it, but it'll be, boom, there. There is a few different ways to make this recipe. The original recipe that I got from the Chubby Chef, she's online. You should check out her page. It's pretty cool, and she's really does her recipes very well. But she gives you several options and tells you some things, which is cool. And I'm gonna kind of follow her recipe pretty much, but I am going to cook mine longer in the crock pot. Her recipe is just like a 2 to 3 hour dish in the crock pot. This I'm going to cook for 6 to 7. And she has, she changes a step, and it does change how it turns out. And I'll explain that as I go along. But the ingredients are pretty much still the same. Process is still the same. The flavor is going to do the same. I'm using both white and dark meat for this chicken marsala. And she uses all wings. I'm going to use a combination of wings and breasts. But anyhow, that being said, if you are new to my channel, welcome. I'm glad you stopped by. I hope you get something out of this video and all the other videos that I have. If you like this one, you can check out the others. If you're returning, thank you. Means I'm doing something right. To all my new subscribers, man, we are just starting to grow in leaps and bounds. I think this is just the beginning of a beautiful thing. Welcome. I'm so glad that you found me interesting enough to subscribe. I promise I will try my hardest not to let you down. Thumbs up, thumbs down, much like subscribing. Both will get our neighborhood growing. It keeps us out in algorithms and other people's feeds. Yeah, it lets me know how I'm doing with the thumbs up, thumbs down. Notification bell is right next to the subscription box, and I'll let you know when my videos come out, usually about twice a week. But this is real life on my end. Not, I don't have a studio or anything like that. So but I've yet to miss really, but a couple of Wednesdays and Thursdays in 2 years. We always cook and bake. Comments always welcomed. Be civil, be nice. It's okay to disagree. Just think before you type. And I think that's it. So we're going to get down to the counter, talk about a couple things you'll need beforehand, and I'll walk you through ingredients, amounts, and what alterations she recommended that you could do. And there's 1,000,001. So anyhow, let's get down to the counter and we'll get started. Okay. I know, you're observant. We're not down to the counter, we're down at the stove. This is not a slow cooker, this is a skillet. And that will be one of the things you need besides your slow cooker. This is also an option. I am going to take my chicken and I am going to sear it, alright? So to do that, I'm going to take 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Now you could use other oils, you could use olive oil, you just don't want to use a strong oil, something that's strong in flavor. Vegetable oil, it doesn't really have a flavor. And we're going to heat this up till, just like all the standard culprits, it gets a little, starts to dance maybe a little, smoke, have that wave like the ocean. And then we are going to start frying our chicken. Okay, our oil is lightly smoking. It's rippling. We're doing good. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to take our chicken real quick. Now, chicken wise, she used 1 pound. Her recommendation was 1 pound of chicken thighs, boneless, skinless chicken thighs, which I have some, and I actually have about a pound. This doesn't make a very big crock pot's worth. So since I have a larger crock pot, a 6-quart, I am putting a total of 2.5 pounds of chicken in. I've got a pound and change of chicken thighs. I got a pound and change of chicken breast. And what I'm going to do is I've got just some salt and pepper in here mixed together, and I'm going to put this on it, just like such. Then we'll flip them over right quick. And what we're going to do is we're just going to sear these. We're literally only going to cook these for about a minute on each side to give them some color and some flavor. I'm not using table salt. I'm using kosher salt. And I ground it up fine because we can only seem to find the coarse stuff here. And just some standard black large ground pepper. There is that. And then we're just going to simply take these. We're going to place them in that hot oil and sear them for, like I said, about a minute on each side. Okay, so I completely screwed up and thought I had pressed play on the camera. And so you kind of missed a step, but not really. Alright, so we got done searing our chicken. Right there. And the next thing we did with the same pan we were using to sear our chicken, and it had the oil in it still, was I added to this, let me get my list, so that way we, and I turned it down to medium-low to do this, okay? And in this pan, with all the little bits of chicken and stuff that were in it, I added to this 1 medium onion diced, I added 1 serrano pepper, and I deseeded it, and I minced it up. I added 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. I added 1 tablespoon of garam masala, a half a teaspoon of smoked paprika, a half a teaspoon of ground turmeric, a quarter teaspoon of cumin, 1 to 2 teaspoons of sugar, and now we're about to add the last 2 ingredients to this. And what we did was we just let this cook down until the onions softened a little bit. So now, and it took about 2-3 minutes, no more, no less, and we were good to go. I kept it stirring the whole time, okay? And you want to do that, and you want to be able to scrape the bottom. Now, let's say you go and you got a lot of bits on the bottom left over. How would you get them off? Well, you could just simply put a little bit of chicken broth or water in here, and it will steam it off, even if it's not a cast iron pan. But to this, I'm going to add 3 minced garlic cloves and some grated ginger. All right, and they're both fresh. Now, once again, you could use already pre-minced ginger or already done up garlic, and that's fine if that's what you got. If you've got the time, though, I highly recommend, cutting your own and using fresh. There's an alternative for everything. There is. Okay, so 30 more seconds on this, and then we're going to move on to actually using the crock pot and not this. On a side note, real quick, if you didn't want to do this, it's recommended that you do this. You could just dump all this in the crock pot and walk away. But by doing this with at least the vegetables, you don't have to do it with the chicken at all, just like I just said. But with the, well, you may not even have caught that. With the chicken, you don't have to cook it. If you don't cook it, just dice it up into about 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 inch chunks and put it in your crock pot raw. That's okay too. All right, so I am going to let this finish cooking down, and when we come back, we'll start building our crock pot dish. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so got the crock pot out and running. We're going to take, this is very fragrant. I'm able to get all the bits off the bottom of the pan. I tell you, this pan, we just redid this pan, and it's already slick as a whistle. Let me grab something real quick to grab this with. Excuse my towel. It's a little on the heavy side, which I hope isn't a sign of things to come. Make sure your oven's turned off. We'll grab these. I think that looks delicious. And we're just gonna take all this and put it in our crock pot, just like such. Try not to catch the towel on fire. Get that little bit of ooey gooey goodness off the bottom of the skillet there that's left. Get what's off the pan there, just like such. And I'm just going to spread this out a little bit on the bottom. What this is going to do is this is going to be the bed that we're eventually going to put our chicken on. To this, I am going to add a little quicker. We're going to pour on tomato sauce as our next ingredient. Now, since I'm doing, like I said, a bigger crock pot and I've got more chicken than what it called for, more than double, I'm going to double my sauce. The original recipe called for 1 pound of chicken. All the ingredients in there are for the original recipe, but it also only calls for 15 ounces of tomato sauce. I am going to put more than that in there. I am going to put in 7.5 plus 15, about 22.5, about 23 ounces of tomato sauce. I'm going to go 1.5 cans, 2 15-ounce cans. I use 1.5 cans. I'm going to put that in there. Then we'll take our spoon, stir that up. So we want it to be good, just like that. Man, I'm telling you, this is going to be the ultimate dish. So, our alternatives to this are, there's so many things to choose from. You can use all thigh. You could use all breast. You could fry it up like we did, you know, or sear it like we did, or you could not sear it. And there are rules to that. Make sure you dice it up. You can cook those spices and bring out all that flavor, or you can just throw it in there. That's pretty awesome so far. So now we're just going to take our chicken, we're going to lay it in there, just like such. I really can't believe I didn't turn the camera on. That's aggravating. Put our chicken in there just like that. We're going to make sure it's coated, just like such. Just like that. And then I'm going to look at the directions real quick, the recipe, and make sure we got everything we needed to do. We do so far. Okay, so get the lid on this real quick and we'll talk about cooking times. Like that. And of course, you may not know this, but the slow cooker won't stay here on the stove. That's takes up too much real estate here in the kitchen. So, I'll put it out there. But, what do we do now? We got that there. We're going to turn our slow cooker on. We want it on low. And we want it to go for 6 hours. Set. And once we get through this 6 hours, it's just going to, what it's going to do is, where I did it like this and did not cut the chicken up, when we go to finish this recipe, it is going to fall apart. You know, it's going to be more of a shredded chicken than a cubed chicken. Now, if you want a cubed style chicken with this, as soon as you get done searing it, cut it into cubes. If you're using it raw, cut it into cubes first and then put it in. Alright, those are a couple, you know, different, that way you have a couple different ways of doing it. Or you can do it like this, and by the time it's done at the 6-7 hour mark, it's just going to fall apart and be shredded. It's going to be amazing. So, I'm going to let that cook down, and when I come back, it'll be like a half a second for you, but it'll be like 6-7 hours for me. And we'll finish up this dish. See you here in a second. Alright, so we have let that sit for about 5 minutes or so, just to get to know each other. Doesn't take long. Give it a good stir. Yeah, that chicken is just wasted away to nothing. So what we need to do now is go ahead and get this chicken broke up. And the fact that I can do it with a rubber spatula tells you how tender that is. It just falls apart. And you don't necessarily have to shred it. Break it up into chunks there like that. Alright, we got that, mostly shredded and chunked. Which is the way we want it. And I like the fact that it has plenty of sauce. Because I like the sauce over the rice. If it tastes anything like the non-slow cooker version of this, it's going to do well. And this would be good to set out at a party, just like this, and, just do a line. And it would be, easy, quick, allow you to make this and not fuss so much with cooking, and you can get other things done. You got a busy day ahead of you, or work, or whatever. It's all there, especially like if you have kids and they're in after-school activities, evening programs. Man, you put this on in the morning, and you get home before you have to go to do what you got to do, and boom, dinner's done, right? You can eat real quick and go. Alright, so we got our rice, and I'm using basmati rice. I'm telling you, once you start eating things like basmati and jasmine and stuff like that, you never really want to eat regular plain old instant white rice again. So, that being said, let's pour a little bit of this on it with the sauce. Alright. And there we are, my friends. There is our chicken masala, chicken tikka masala. And now all we got to do is give it a try, right? See how it tastes. I can tell you my whole house smells absolutely amazing. Sorry. And this looks fantastic. Sorry again. I'm getting a fork in case you're wondering what I'm doing, because I'm the least prepared person in the entire world. I don't know when that happened, but it did. Especially when it comes to shooting videos. I inevitably forget one or two things. But this time I think I did alright. All I forgot was a fork, I believe. I wanted to hit start on the camera. Alright, so let's give it a shot with the rice and the chicken. It tastes like chicken tikka masala. That is really good. Got a ton of flavor in it. Just a ton. Sorry, I'm gonna give me one more good bite in. That's good. That's such a balance of flavors. And I like garam masala. That is one heck of a seasoning. And everybody's blend's a little different, but for the most part, no matter who makes it, it seems to be pretty good. At least so far I've found. Anyhow, give this a try, because I'm going to take this into the kitchen, into the dining room, and so we can all eat. But and let me know if you do give this a try. I don't think you'll be disappointed by any means. It's solid, and it took minimal effort. Now, like when you start cooking any other regional style food, or food from elsewhere, you're going to build up a good spice collection. And it takes some spices you may not have if you're a beginner. But as you grow your repertoire for cooking, you'll collect these spices too, and then you'll have them on hand from there on out. But anyhow, I'm going to go eat. Tomorrow for dessert, I'll be doing up some serious pie making, so it'll be easy. It'll be quick. I know, matter of fact, I know it's going to be quick and easy because it only has 4 ingredients, and it's an Oreo dump cake. It's 4 ingredients, all of them store-bought. You don't have to make anything from scratch. You just throw it together. I think it's going to taste amazing, and but we'll see. It really is just like the easiest thing to put together. And there's like 12 variations on a theme. Well, Just on the one video I saw of it. So, but anyhow, till tomorrow for Oreo dump cake. I love you. I love you very much. You know, tell somebody else you love them and you love them very much. You make some of this, invite them over, have a, you know, good dinner and conversation. They'll appreciate it, I'm sure. They may even need it. All right, I love you. See you tomorrow for Oreo dump cake. Talk to you later. Bye.